G'day, Bomber fans. Make it 7 from 7. That is now 7 losses in a row for the AFLW Bombers. The season is ending the same way that it did for the men. I think we had 13 in a row, something like that. So obviously they can't get to that stage because this is just our second to last home game of the year. The season's almost done. Only 2 more games left. It ended pretty much the way we thought it would, not the season, this game. We were taught another lesson by the Lions at home. It was a one-sided contest, 16-54 at Windy Hill, so let's talk about it. Leave your votes in the comments below. Role player attached as always. Alright, quarter by quarter recap. The first looked good. The Lions got the control early. They kicked the first goal. They had most of the play, but then a Daria Bannister, I don't even know what to call it. It was a freak goal. Got us a bit of momentum. And when I say freak goal, I mean that you won't see anything like that. That ball was bouncing on right angles. After that, Grace Brooker ran into an open goal to give us the lead. And at quarter time, it feels like a while since this has happened, but we had the lead in a game. It was 14-11. We had the better of the Lions early. The second quarter, this is where we got brought back down to reality a bit. The Lions kicked a goal in the first couple of minutes and then had the ball living in their forward half. Realistically, they should have scored a lot more than they did. They had all the play but only managed 2 goals, quite a few misses. It was 27-14 at halftime, but they had 9 behinds to their name. They were almost at our tally on behinds. If they were just a bit more accurate, we would be in a world of trouble. The third, I thought we defended well, but for the second straight quarter, we were held goalless. A bit of a common theme for our season. We kicked 2 goals to 2 to start the game, got out of the blocks hot, but then since that, we had 1 point for the extra 2 quarters, which meant even though the Lions, well, they had a slow quarter as well, just the 1 goal, it was enough for them to expand on that lead even more. And at the Premiership quarter break, it was 19 points the difference, which means, I mean, there was no way we were kicking that in a quarter. And the final term, yeah, we got another point. We didn't reduce that lead. In fact, the Lions kicked a few more on us. The floodgates opened a little bit. And just like that, the game ended. It was 54-16 after a promising start. We kicked 2 goals in the first quarter and then 2 points for the rest of the game. So, yep, GG's. It was our 7th loss in a row. And with just 2 games left in the season, I think we're counting down the days. So yeah, this was just another game where the Bombers weren't as good as the team we were playing. We could end the review there if you wanted. We were coming up against Brisbane, a very good team there. Top 5 or 6 in the competition. I think they're contenders for top 4. And you can tell that there was a big skill differential between the 2 teams. I thought, and let's start by saying this, I thought the Bombers went out there and actually gave it a proper crack. And if you weren't watching the game, you probably wouldn't have seen that. But there were some ferocious hits and some big tackles in this game. Amy Gaylor herself had some huge tackles in defence. 1 or 2 deep in D50 to save goals. There was a Steph Kane chase down. That Daria Bannister moment where she put her body on the line for us. Yeah, despite the scoreline, which was obviously not good, I thought the Bombers were really hard at it and didn't give up without a fight, which is, you know, a positive after what's happened in the other few weeks. Large parts of this game were really close. Not on the scoreboard, obviously, but at the contest, I felt like, you know, we were at least trying. We can say that. And the main difference really between these 2 teams can be pinned down to just one team being a lot better and more advanced than the other. I think games like this show us that there's a big skill difference between us and the best at times. And it's not just effort, it's skill and experience. And I think it shows us that, you know, even though we started this season really well, over the off-season in 2024, we did get a fair bit worse on our list from those changes that we made. And there are probably some changes to be made to the off-field structure as well this off-season. Maybe the coaching department, not necessarily Wood herself, but improvements to the game plan and system. But I think that would also be made easier with some big changes to the list. And I think that's going to happen this off-season. And games like this show that we do need to keep changing this list. You know, like with the AFL squad, we're going to see it come primarily through the draft, I think. This is a more AFLW general chat now, but I think what the comp is looking like right now, I wonder if there's even a chance of Essendon getting close to the best teams in the comp right now, or even in the next 1 or 2 years. And you know, when I say best teams, I mean North Melbourne. Like, even the best teams in the comp get smashed by North Melbourne. It's really, you got to question whether or not contending right now is even worth it the way North Melbourne are going. Obviously that will change, and hopefully by then the Bombers are up and about too. But you know, for any year for this to happen in, this is probably the one, because you know, no one's getting close to North Melbourne this year. They are really far and away the best team in the comp. It's not even close. So yeah, I think obviously it's not ideal, and you know, you don't want to just be down the bottom because there are teams at the top better. You know, you always should be trying to improve, but I think our improvement should be coming through youth, especially while the AFLW landscape is improving with that skill. And look, and it's not where we thought we'd be after round 3. I was thinking finals, to be honest, and since that game, it's all been downhill. But at least we know we are miles off and we need to get better. So if we think about things that Essendon need to improve specifically, looking at this game as a lens, I think the thing with Essendon is that we're not efficient inside 50 to start with, like at all. That's a big issue with the team right now. There's a lack of synergy and damage in the forward half, and when we don't get territory, it is impossible to do anything. Because we had 21 inside 50s this game. The Lions had 45. They had double our amount. So in this game and in other games this year, you've got a team in the Bombers who can't score with the entries they get. You know, we kicked 0 goals for the last 3 quarters, 2 points, and we weren't getting enough anyway to begin with. And the thing is, when we get entries, we struggle to score when we get too good and others up there. But when the ball's living in our defence, when we're under pressure, we throw too good behind the ball and we don't have speed forward of it to counter attack. We don't have marking targets forward of it aside from too good, who's usually in defence to help stem the bleeding. We're a very physical team. We're at our best in the contest, but we really do lack leg speed, especially with Paige Scott and Amber Clark off the list now. That is a lot of our spark forward of the ball gone that we haven't found a way to replace. So when games like this have us stuck in defence, it's really not going to change from that. You know, and even though we scored 2 goals in this game, you know, in the 1 quarter, one of them was an absolute fluke. And then after those 2 goals, we scored 2 points for the rest of the game. So it shows that we don't know how to score. You know, and you guys will remember last week I was talking about the goalless and scoreless quarters. To update you on that, in the last 3 games, we've had 8 goalless quarters, which means on average we score a goal in 1 quarter per game this month. And that's just... yeah, that's not good. And it's not like we don't have goal scorers. You know, Bonnie Toogood's All-Australian at her best. Sophie Alexander and Daria Bannister are really productive at their best. I just think we lack creativity and spark in this team. And I think for our defence, which usually is not too bad, there needs to be more help and two-way running from the rest of the team. Because I feel like when the ball is pinging around, we lose numbers out. You know, we're always second to the ball. We're a good stoppage-to-stoppage team. Our contest work is good. But in open play, we start to see, you know, you see 2-on-1s. You see opponents outworking us. I think this team needs a lot of work over the off-season, and not just, you know, externally but internally too. And given our ladder position, you know, we're 1 loss off bottom 4, we've got the 4th worst percentage in the comp. There's every chance we've got the same draft picks that we do in the AFL, or the earliest one. So yeah, I mean, look, overall this game, improved effort. I thought we gave it a crack, but again, we're just so far off our opponents. Brisbane were so much better than us. Let's get on to the votes. All right, votes after the last game we played against the Bulldogs in that massive loss at Whitten Oval at round 9, I think, round 9. We had Georgia Nairns going up the top by plenty. Maddie Prasparkas had closed in on votes a tad. She was just 5 behind. Too Good and Clark are miles away, battling for a podium spot. And then it is Logjam City. Steph Kane, Amy Gaylord, Daria Bannister, Sophie Alexander, Steph Wales, and Maddie Gay. She enters the 10. And the votes for this week, 1 vote to Daria Bannister. I love the energy and the moments. She got absolutely smashed and bashed this game. Huge knocks, huge efforts. That one on the wing where she got up, absolutely poleaxed and got back on her feet was awesome. 1 vote to her. 2 votes to Georgia Nairns. She just keeps trucking on. Really impressive after another higher effort game. 3 votes though to Amy Gaylord. I thought she was by far and away our best. This was one of her best games in the red and black. And yes, she hasn't been too consistent this year as that young and improving player, but she's showing that with another big preseason, she really could leap up to be, you know, one of our senior and best players. And that's not a hot take. You know, she's really talented. She's got clean hands. Some of those intercept marks were great. As I said earlier, some of those tackles too. So yeah, Gaylord gets the 3, and the role player is Mia Bush. She was hard at it all day, got her hands on plenty of the footy, 19 touches, plenty in defence. I thought Bush was good for us, and those are my votes. Leave yours down below. And next week, it is our second to last game. It's Halloween weekend, and we've got the Hawks in the Zach Merritt Cup. Is it Halloween weekend? Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm going a bit early there. Essendon host Hawthorn at Windy Hill, our final home game for the season. It's on Saturday afternoon. This is another scary one. We're currently 14th on the ladder, bottom 5. Hawthorn are 3rd, equal wins with Melbourne in 2nd, only off by percentage. The Hawks did have a massive shock loss against the Power. I believe they had some injuries, but I mean, you'd expect the Hawks to just get this one done and cement their spot in the top 4, whereas the Bombers, we're just playing for pride. We're trying to get one more win before the year ends. Will it happen? Probably not, but that is all, Bomber fans. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and as always, go Bombers.